I've spent the last few days digging through whispers and old records, piecing together a story that's been hiding in plain sight for decades. Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old matriarch whose sudden disappearance from her Tucson home has gripped the nation, wasn't just the devoted mother and grandmother everyone believed her to be. She was something far more complicated. For over 30 years, Nancy maintained a flawless facade so convincing that even her closest family members, including her famous daughter Savannah, never suspected the truth beneath it. But when a mysterious package arrived at the Guthrie family doorstep just days after her disappearance, everything began to unravel, revealing a double life that both explained and deepened the mystery surrounding why she vanished. Nancy Guthrie had always been seen as the quiet force holding her family together. After her husband Charles died of a heart attack in 1989, leaving her widowed at 47 with 3 teenagers in Tucson, Arizona, she became the embodiment of resilience. Friends remembered her as a woman who never complained, who transformed her modest ranch-style home in the Catalina foothills into a place of stability and warmth. She worked part-time as a bookkeeper, volunteered faithfully at church, and raised her children Savannah, Annie, and Cam with faith, humor, and determination. Savannah often credited her mother publicly, describing her as someone who faced everything head-on with grace and strength, becoming the emotional rock behind her daughter's successful television career. Yet even rocks have fractures, and Nancy's ran deeper than anyone imagined. The first crack appeared not through confession or confrontation, but through an unmarked envelope delivered to Savannah's New York apartment on February 6, 2026, 5 days after Nancy vanished. Inside was a faded photograph showing a much younger Nancy standing beside an unfamiliar man outside a small cafe in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Written on the back in unfamiliar handwriting were the words, "She deserved more than secrets. Ask about Elena." That night, Savannah showed the photo to her siblings during a frantic video call. None of them recognized the man or the name Elena. The photograph, dated 1992, 3 years after their father's death, became the key that unlocked a hidden world. Investigators soon uncovered that Nancy had been living a parallel existence since the early 1990s, one that began during a church retreat in Santa Fe in 1991. Still grieving, she met Victor Ramirez, an artist and gallery owner originally from Mexico City who had fled political unrest years earlier. Victor was passionate, creative, and free-spirited, everything her late husband had not been. Bonded by shared grief, their friendship quietly grew into love. Nancy returned to Tucson changed, but buried the relationship deeply, unwilling to disrupt her children's mourning or alter their image of her as a devoted widow. Secretly, she began traveling to Santa Fe every few months, claiming church visits or retreats while building a second life with Victor. They never married, yet they created a private world together. Victor called her Elena, inspired by a character from a Mexican novel they loved, symbolizing the side of Nancy she kept hidden. Under this alias, she helped run his gallery and even displayed her own paintings, something she never allowed herself to pursue in Tucson. By 1995, she opened a small bank account under the name Elena Ramirez, quietly supporting the gallery with modest contributions from her bookkeeping income. Through Victor's artistic circle, Nancy experienced freedom she had long denied herself, attending late-night gatherings, discussing philosophy, and rediscovering identity beyond motherhood and responsibility. Elena became adventurous and expressive, everything Nancy felt she could not be at home. The secrecy weighed heavily, yet Nancy justified it by believing her children were thriving and that revealing the truth would shatter their perception of her loyalty to their father's memory. Weekends in Santa Fe became her escape, her oxygen. She drove hours each way, exchanged handwritten letters with Victor to avoid digital trails, and stored them in a locked box hidden beneath her bed in Tucson. As years passed and her children built their own lives, Nancy spent longer periods in Santa Fe, managing gallery finances, organizing exhibitions, and living openly as Elena among locals who never connected her to her family life. She carefully altered her appearance and avoided discussing Tucson, maintaining strict separation between identities. By the 2010s, health problems and anxiety began surfacing. Victor urged her to reveal the truth to her family, but Nancy refused, insisting that her children depended on seeing her as unshakable. She relied on burner phones and cash transactions, growing increasingly fearful as Savannah's public fame expanded. During the pandemic, travel restrictions forced separation, intensifying Nancy's guilt and emotional strain. When visits resumed, she traveled less frequently, worried exposure might follow her daughter's rising visibility. Then, on January 31st, 2026, Nancy vanished after returning home from a family dinner. Security footage showed her garage door closing at 9:50 p.m., but by early morning her pacemaker registered silence. Blood drops were discovered inside and outside the home, yet there were no signs of forced entry or robbery. Initially, investigators suspected a crime connected to Savannah's celebrity status, but the envelope changed the direction entirely. Authorities traced its Santa Fe origin and soon located Victor Ramirez, now 80 years old, still operating his gallery. When questioned, he confirmed the decades-long relationship and revealed Nancy had visited him only weeks earlier, expressing fear that she was being watched and followed. He handed investigators letters, photographs, and a painting she created titled Hidden Horizons. The revelation devastated the family. During an emotional call, Savannah, Annie, and Cam struggled to reconcile the mother they knew with the woman revealed through Elena's life. Missing from Nancy's home was the locked box Victor described, likely containing decades of correspondence, raising suspicions that someone targeted her secret directly. Investigators began exploring possibilities ranging from blackmail to personal revenge connected to her hidden identity. Financial records revealed unusual activity, including a $5,000 transfer to an unknown account in Mexico shortly before her disappearance. Victor denied knowledge, suggesting Nancy may have been helping someone or responding to pressure. As the investigation intensified, agents examined gallery associates and Tucson neighbors while public speculation exploded online. Friends described Elena as kind and artistic, organizing community art classes and quietly supporting young creators, while Tucson remembered Nancy as the devoted grandmother and faithful church volunteer. For 30 years, Nancy balanced two realities: Tucson Nancy, the dependable matriarch, and Santa Fe Elena, the passionate artist seeking freedom from loneliness. Her disappearance shattered both identities at once, leaving investigators questioning whether her secret life invited danger or whether she attempted to escape it herself. The Guthrie family released a brief statement asking for privacy while focusing on bringing her home, even as Victor closed his gallery under emotional strain.